breaking news. Reports out of Ukraine, 2 Americans fighting alongside Ukrainian forces have been captured by Russia. The 2 men are believed to be the first Americans taken by Russian soldiers. Correspondent Sarah Williamson, who spent about 4 months covering the war in Ukraine, has more.
Well, Greta, 2 former U.S. servicemen, Alexander Druecki and Andy Hun, have reportedly been captured by Russian forces whilst fighting in Ukraine. The pair have said to have been taken prisoners during a fierce battle outside the northeast city of Kharkiv last week, according to other members of their unit who were fighting alongside them. Now, the 39-year-old Druecki and 27-year-old Hun were serving as volunteers with a regular Ukrainian army unit and are believed to have been the first US servicemen to end up as Russian prisoners of war. Now, there is a huge concern for the safety of these American veterans, Greta, after last week when a court in the pro-Russian breakaway state of the Donetsk People's Republic sentenced 2 British fighters and 1 Moroccan fighter to death. Now, this, of course, will also be diplomatically sensitive, as the Kremlin may seek to use it as proof that the US is becoming directly involved in the war. President Putin could demand significant concessions from the US in exchange for their release. And according to a comrade of the 2 fighters, they hit an anti-tank mine that had knocked them out and made them unconscious, and they had thought to have been captured by the Russians amongst the fog of the battle. Now, both families of the missing men have confirmed that this information does match what they were told on Monday when they first received calls informing them of this tragic situation. Now, White House spokesman John Kirby also addressing the media earlier, saying that if these reports are true, the United States will do everything it can to get them back. Greta?
Sarah, just to be very clear, they were not fighting for the U.S. military. They were Americans who were volunteering, because that's a huge distinction. That's a very huge distinction and a really important one, because if they do go over there fighting for the U.S. military, that effectively involves the U.S. in this fight and therefore involves NATO in this fight. But they went over there voluntary. They are not serving. They are not active members. They are retired US veterans, and they went over there voluntarily on their own will and were fighting alongside the Ukrainian army. So they were in a Ukrainian unit as volunteers. A very important distinction to make there. And let's hope Putin recognizes that distinction as well. Sarah, thank you. Sarah Williamson.